Car today. It's kind of nice to.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the day before, opening day eve, if you want to get politically correct. But how's it going? How's it going out there, everybody? Yeah, no, I am giddy. I love, and I think it's extra something different when we didn't know if we were going to have baseball. But I'm giddy. I'm ready to go. So I know we were just talking about that beforehand, but. Welcome. We'll let everyone get in here. But we're going to be going over basically the Underdog, they're called Battle Royales. They're daily snake draft contests. We're going to jump into some of those later. But tonight, we're just going to simply go over how we go about that and just general strategy about that. Is there anything else I'm missing here, Nez?
No, I mean, the whole strategy when it comes to these daily contests is I would call it fluid, and I would say there's no exact science to this, but as far as the process goes before you actually dip your toes into a draft room, we have a lot that we will cover, and a lot of that is very boilerplate. But once you actually get in the draft room, that's when all hell breaks loose and anything can happen. But up until that point, there is a process that I follow, you follow, people in the Discord follow. And if you are brand new to these contests, which it seems like a lot of people are this year, you're going to want to tune in and you may want to get a pen and paper. I'm not going to lie. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's fun. It is so much fun.
Yeah. So we'll put on the screen here. We'll start going through the basics. So we'll start by just going over kind of the absolute basics of the contest.
Yeah, because the scoring is different here. It's not the same as it is in
it's a little different. In
best ball.
It's the exact same hitting wise, and I don't know if I should. Let's see if that help going in.
Yeah, perfect.
And I'll zoom out when I need be. But yeah, so we'll start with the roster. It's the same as you're going to have in best ball in terms of the positional pitcher, outfield, infield. It's just the fact that it's going to be 6 rounds. So let's see if I have the other page up here. Yeah, we'll go up there. So it's going to be a 6-round draft with just 6 other people in there. So it's going to be a very small draft. Let's see here.
Yeah, they do go by very fast.
Yeah, so it's just going to be a 6-person draft with just 6 rounds. And how's it going to work is it's just going to have the daily contest of those games depending on whatever games Underdog adds in there. If you play daily fantasy, they break the slates up. It's just simply whatever Underdog adds in there. A lot of the time, it is a majority of all of the games that are start at the main time. Other than that, this is basically how the roster is gonna work down. And then obviously if you see the single game, this is the daily contest. If there's just simply one game,
right?
Don't get confused by
think
that.
NFL where it's just 2 teams, just the flexes, and so think pitcher like quarterback, so no pitchers, just position players. Those are typically 30 entry max, or at least they were in the past, 33 entry max. So totally different and different strategy wise too, I would say.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, and what we were talking about earlier, how the scoring is different. This is where the scoring actually differs is these first 4 and then the earned run the bat. So actually these 4 and 5, the one over here, the 5, these 5 total. And what it's going to be is simply, instead of, and I wrote this down, instead of in best ball, the wins are just chopped to 2 rather than 5. Quality starts are chopped to 3 rather than 5. Strikeouts are chopped to 1 rather than 3. An inning pitch just chopped to 1 rather than 3. So I think it's 0.33 I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that, because otherwise, for just a simply like a third of an inning pitch, you get 1 point in best ball. Here it's divided by the 1, and then an earned run is -1 versus -3. Those are the differences. I have triple checked this to make sure this is all the same batting wise, the exact same.
You're right. Yep.
So that's what we got to work with there. I believe, let's see here. Now this is all zoomed in, I bet. Just get to the rules.
But yeah, that's basically it as far as like the rules and
like this is if anything else, if anyone wants to read this, like if you are brand new, just to show you, like simply, it is a snake draft. And it's just like their regular like best ball drafts. It's the same style. Where unlike you're competing in groups of 12, let's say it's whatever size the battle royale is. I wrote an article today. I double checked. Even the 4-game slates were 6 people, so they didn't chop it down to 4 entries for a smaller slate. It looked to be, as of now, unless they change it, they have changed things. It looks to be just simply 6 people in each draft, no matter the slate size. So that's what you're going to be looking at in terms of drafting. And then, of course, your score is going to be matched against the people in the entire battle royale, just like it would be in the tournament, not just the people you're grouped with. So, and that's kind of straightforward. You're competing against the tournament of that, or the tournament of people that are also drafting. And then same thing. You get it's going to have like multi-entering, depending on how much you get. And then at the end of the week, I think this is different because looks like best ball, but so that's basically everything we need to know for the battle royale in terms of just that. We got the roster down, so that's basics. If we are missing anything, if anyone does want to pop anything in chat that they're simply just wondering if we didn't cover for the basics, definitely let us know. Nez, so what's the first thing that you do right away before these contests? What do you check out?
So there's a few things that I check out before I even go and adjust my rankings. One is I go to the weather report. If you want to go ahead and click on that, this is something that everybody should have bookmarked.
Just to say, it will be updated. Obviously, it's not. I'm going to get to this page here just to show what he's been posting on Twitter. But
So expect this to be updated pretty early in the morning. I wouldn't say like bright and early, but early enough that you have time to check it out and prep. And he's just like any other weather reporter. He's just looking at the radar, the data, the models, and giving you his best estimate. And honestly, like, I like to treat this as better safe than sorry. And he may get something off a little bit, but it's the weather. Otherwise though, he's a very important resource, and you should absolutely take a look at him, because if you are drafting and you are not looking at the weather and you have a game that's at risk for being postponed and it does get postponed, well, now you're screwed and you have to late swap. Maybe you stacked you stacked Twins before it got postponed, and now you have to, completely late swap all those guys. Like, that's a loss. That's an L. Just take that L. So you want to make sure that you are drafting people that are expected to play, because it's, you don't want to bleed EV, obviously. It's just not worth that risk a lot of the time. So other people in these lobbies you will see a lot of the time aren't really checking this out. So that's just a good thing to get into these lobbies early, so that way you can take advantage of the people who aren't checking out Kevin Roth's website and his Twitter. First thing I do is check this out.
Same thing. And one thing I will say, different from a DFS, in DFS, you normally, for baseball, you want to get like the complete information. So we're doing stuff different. Like, you'll be making your DFS lineups when you have the actual lineups of the teams. Like, you want to confirm that it's going to be postponed. Like, versus these contests that are people already being drafted. Like, I'm pretty sure it's already 0.25% full, if not.
It's almost let's see the total percentage. I think it's 38% full, which I am like, man, we might have some very fun baseball contests this season, man. I am surprised.
So that's just the only thing. If anyone's coming from the DFS, it's a little different. It's a little uncomfortable. Like, kind of like you're doing with the best information we have. Because what I was going to get into is, he's tweeting right now what these are the possible delays, at least for Thursday. And I will zoom in on that so people can, again, read this. So we're looking at New York, Washington, Chicago, Minneapolis. Obviously, the Twins canceled. Wherever Boston and New York, the Yankees would be playing, it was canceled or postponed, I should say. And we have games in Washington and we have games in Chicago. So I don't know the latest, but it's just these are the things that we should that we instantly look at, and we basically, honestly, take a pen and paper, just write it down. It's better just to write it down, have a note file, something up there. And then, I mean, simply you're going to get an edge on more of the field, because the contest that we've been doing that's 37% full, there's people still taking Twins in the first round. I've been in some of those drafts. So, I mean, just to show you this, like if right now, if you've put him on notification, which I do, he'll let you know right away. Obviously, you don't follow every team, so he'll let you know basically. One thing I did want to point out, I know you said treat them like any other weatherman. This is funny. Just a little funny thing. Thought that was hilarious. He just treat him nicely. He's like you said, reading off of what he has and what we have available. He's just doing it in a very professional fashion and giving us more details on what a professional opinion thinks. So
exactly. He's great. There is no better resource for weather when it comes to baseball.
Yep. And so he's basically he'll go here. If you do have the weather report, he'll give you updates about just certain like he'll have color thing. And then if you do want to get it, I don't know if this is what it is. I have it because I'm subscribed, but yeah, this is a great tool as well. So that's the one thing that we immediately do. Another thing that I believe Nez was talking to me about is he immediately checks the schedule to see about if there's a game in Coors Field.
Absolutely.
So you can, I mean, I won't go to that because you can very simply, you can just check, well, here, the slate of games, which we can see that we don't. You can check ESPN, whatever your preferred method of checking the slate of games. That is one thing. And why, and Nez, if you want to just explain why do we want to check immediately see about the games in Coors Field?
Yeah, well, you're playing in the Rockies and you got that extra elevation, and you just check the numbers on everybody's history of playing in Coors Field. It makes it's a significant difference when you are playing in Coors. So sometimes you will see projections on Underdog in the lobbies to reflect the fact that the player is playing in Coors. But today, the highest projected position player is Brandon Nimmo. So maybe don't go off of the projections that are in the lobby.
And that's something I'll note right here. We'll get into that more specifically when we can look at the screen. I'll note that to remember the projections of Underdog. But yeah, that's a good thing to remember. Is the Underdog projections are not something to go by.
No, they're not.
They're not. They're just really not. I would you would be better on it. I mean, if you have absolutely nothing, thoughts on the if you have absolutely nothing, it's maybe a fine. But if you have absolutely nothing, you have Spike Week, at least the Spike Week rankings, which are free. Yeah. So you're not without nothing. Yeah. And then so I see that comment there. The thoughts, do you have any thoughts on these? You want to provide your comments here?
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting, of course. And right now, all we really have is speculation. Thanks for the question, Jake. Right now, all we really have is speculation at the moment. But there is some smart people, smarter than me, that are hypothesizing what could happen from having humidors everywhere. And Saras in The Athletic, I believe, had a piece on there just talking about the humidors and how it could affect different parks. And one way to kind of think of it is, anywhere where it's kind of like a boon to play there. So think like Miami, where it's humid and it's low sea level. It's not necessarily a great environment to hit. Well, if we have a humidor there, maybe the balls are going to be drier than they were whenever, they were hit historically there. We don't know yet. We really don't know. We have to wait and kind of see. And honestly, I wouldn't even say that if we had half a season, a full season of data, I don't know that we could honestly come up with anything to like firmly say, yes, here's the effect of the humidor on these parks. But for now, I guess what I would say is just kind of inverse what we typically know. So, Atlanta is like a sneaky good hitters park. Maybe Atlanta has a negative effect. The cop-out answer is we don't know, but my lean is that I'm going to give, or at least I did give, a slight boost to like Marlins in my best ball drafting. I was like, okay, I will, place a small bet that maybe the humidor factor is going to positively affect the Marlins.
That's a
so that's really the end of my rant. Do you have any strong takes outside of what I said? Summarizing.
You just started talking about your Marlins and your best ball, and I just had to. I'm sorry, I know I got on it, but I mean that's good for me at least because I was going high on that. So perfect. That's all I wanted to check out. Good.
And
good.
Dag is Max also big on Marlins. He has a lot of Jesus Aguilar, who I have not seen taken in any drafts, and I love that.
He's the one that actually got me on him. So shout out Dagus. Yeah, for sure got me. He kept saying over and over. I'm like, well, he heard the question was asked, who kept being taken over and over again in the late, or who's not being taken that you're taking in the 20th, and he commented that, and I wanted to comment back, not anymore, because I'm taking him quite
right now. Yeah, that's free game.
But and here we have a little update. That's fun. So next that I wanted to get into, the next thing that now that we've covered, basically we know the weather chances, the possible postponements, the cancellations, postponements, the already postponements that we have. You want to make sure you know that because it'll affect you. It already is affecting drafts, and it will affect drafts on. And an example would be a top team is all of a sudden expected to get rain. They get bumped down. People just stop drafting them, and basically they're just going almost undrafted because it's kind of if these fields, even with the amount of entrants in this, if they continue to get even larger and more top heavy, that's the kind of shots you almost want to take, especially on a top offense. And we'll get into that more later, but that goes inside with weather. It's just the things like that you can pick up on. Just note, they're a top offense, but they have right now it's looking like they have an 80 to 90% chance of not playing. But if they do play, then so it's very particular for teams, and you can use it to your advantage and find edges with that already.
Yeah, so the more people that we have in these contests, the bigger these contests get, the more we have to think about game theory. Right now, the max entries is 66 for this, and we're going to have, and it looks like it might fill, because we're close to halfway, and it's not even tomorrow. In the past, it was 6 entry max. So now we have to kind of take into account, okay, there's a lot more entrants here, we might have to get cuter than we did in the past with drafting.
And that so the next thing that I'll simply do is if you subscribe to Roto Grinders, is what you're going to get. You're going to look at this, you're going to see projections, just simply projections. This is the projection source I use. This is the top stacks that I'll get, and this is where I will differ from. I'll line these up and I'll basically figure out you'll see all these different numbers. What I worry about right here is just the projection, who's the top stacks. And you can use this to your advantage when you're drafting in these lobbies, because you're going to find discrepancies all over the board in how actual projections have these, and how actual projections have these players rated versus how Underdog has them. A lot of the time, some players will have zeros. A lot of the times they're all over the board in their projections. And the name of the game in MLB is stack. I mean, that's it. We're stacking. We're 100% stacking. If you're not, you might win, but it's just over the long term, you're not going to.
Right.
This is the number one tool that I use when doing these lineups is simply this helps me just keep in check. These are the top offenses because I'm betting on I look at it as I'm betting on the offense versus betting on these individual players. Yes, I'll make multiple different versions of these lineups, of my lineups, using different versions of these, because I'm not trying to just go the same players over and over again. There's 9 players in the lineup. It's baseball. We were talking about this earlier. The projections it's different from basketball, whereas you have a guy it's simply based off minutes, and obviously your production on the court, and they have their own algorithm. It's very unlikely that a guy getting 30 minutes, a star player, is going to put up a 0 unless he gets hurt and all these circumstances. Yeah. In baseball, Yordan Alvarez could go 0 for 4, and if he doesn't get a sac fly with one of those and he could have 3 or all of them fly out to the warning track. And if he doesn't get the home run, if he doesn't get a sac fly because of that, it's 0 points. So like, yes, it is helpful to use and helpful to find out, and not with these stack projections, because we are inevitably using the projections, but individual batter projections are something that's just, it's different. And whereas pitching, you can rely on pitching projections a lot more. They're more reliable. They're trusty. And I have been doing that as well. Dusty, I'm going to butcher the numbers, so I'm not going to say it. It's Dusty, 3 different numbers on there. It's so many numbers I have to go through in my head on Underdog. If you see him in your drafts, he's talking about him stacking. He's already stacked multiple Brewers. Kutch projects for top 10 points according to the Bad X and has 0 projection on Underdog. Yes. I agree with you there. Another one that we even have on Spike Week in our rankings, Luke Voigt, up there in top 10 or 15, 0 projection on Underdog, which we will get into. But this is, along with knowing the other things, this is the number one thing I personally use. Yeah. And then the individual projections, just to know what pitchers are best and whatnot. And I don't know what, if you want to go over how you personally do it, because I know it's probably going to be a little different for you.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just kind of show people, because like I said, I think we're going to have a lot of new people to the Battle Royale streets. Can you go to the rankings?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And so what's nice is on the right. Okay. So you don't have anything set here. Look at these default rankings, man. Like,
yeah.
What are we doing here? In my opinion, I set my personal rankings like as soon as before I enter a draft lobby, I will go in and I would like to put the pitchers I like most at the top. And then after that, I don't necessarily rank the players I like the most. I will group the stacks I like the most.
Yep.
And so what's nice is if you search in there, like I think most people know now, you can type in the search tool just the name of a team. So like, yeah, Braves. So then you can look at all the non-purple pieces, take your favorites, and then group them. And then now you can rank your stacks. And then that way, whenever you are drafting, now it's much more organized and you have an idea of like what your strategy is, because, whenever you're actually in the draft lobby, as we all know, because we're all degenerates, you kind of lose your sense a little bit here, whenever you're in the lobby and, oh my God, this guy took Tyler Meagle first. Well, now who the hell do I take? You kind of panic a little bit. So
did you see that? Has that happened?
No.
Okay. It was like, is this a thing that you're just pulling off the top? Okay. Sorry to derail you there, but that
I hypothesized, like, what am I going to do if I see Tyler Meagle? I might freak out. I might go straight to the Discord and miss my pick.
That's a good point right there. That's something that I was going to mention, and we'll get to that. Is it getting, and we'll get it. So basically, if you look the top pitchers, so if we take out pitchers, I guess. Sorry,
I always do that.
Yeah, it's like oh no, there's pitchers.
Yeah, let me exclude
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, is this? Yeah, am I right here? Yeah, okay. Is it?
Bro, that's what I'm telling you. Brandon Nimmo, top projected player.
The entire Mets lineup. So this is something that you immediately It's not terrible. But you'll notice they're not even first. You'll notice they're only in second by 0.05, and you'll notice it's very close. So one thing that we can immediately do is and I was going to particularly ask you, I use the kind of like my leverage, and I don't know if you play DFS, fantasy baseball DFS. I don't know if we've talked about that, but
yeah, I dabbled.
The getting the under-owned stack or getting, as we can see, with them being top of the board, I see them go all the time. There's going to be a combination of this going all the time, like all the time. Their pitcher that they're going against, I'm pretty sure it's Patrick Corbin.
Yeah.
Okay. He's not projected great, but there's also it's just okay. So,
but they shouldn't be the top team on that projection.
It's not. That's what I'm getting to. It's not like he's. I guess the worst projection isn't even. So it's not like he's in the basically the teens. So we can immediately establish that this is going to be a very owned stack. Like maybe not, because people will be like, they have with auto drafts and just people levitated. They're going to be drafted over the next.
At a minimum, the players themselves will be taken in almost every single draft.
Yes, in a or whatever combination it is, and then after that, it's Soto. Another Met, so I think that might round up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So no, they have 2 more, and then we have Trout, and then so like this, you're just seeing there's another Met. We're just seeing the rankings here. So now if we look, the highest rated overall stack, Manny Machado is 9.4. So you have to scroll down a decent bit to even get the highest rated guy in the number one overall stack. He might not be the highest player.
Mm-hmm.
He's up there. He is the highest player. So that's just something we can. Every projection system will be different. Draft. No,
is he talking Mazzara? That's a throwback. I didn't think Coakley knew. I didn't think Coakley knew baseball.
I really think he's talking Garciaparra.
Yeah, right. Well,
are you talking
Coakley? You need to elaborate, man. Are you talking Mazzara? Because I didn't think you knew baseball like that.
No, he is not. I don't think. When you said Mazzara, I'm like, there's no way he's that into.
Does Coakley
anyway,
no more Mazzara?
So you can just immediately see with the like Matt Olson down is below all of these people. Like there's. I know your boy Key Bryan Hayes is above him. It's insane.
I'm not going to take Key Bryan in tomorrow's slate.
and it's just, it's different. And so the next thing I guess we'll get into, the burning topic that probably needs to be addressed. When to take a pitcher, when not to take a pitcher. You get one. You don't, the flex doesn't count as another. There isn't take a two. There's no bench. It's with the 6 people being drafted. You can go first. I can go first. I have my thoughts, whatever.
Yeah. So real quick before we kind of jump into pitcher talk, sort of semi-related to pitcher talk. We had Dusty mentioned Kutch is a 0. Anytime Ohtani is on the mound, he's going to be a 0 as well. So and he's going to bat, and he had. I think had 50 homers last year, so you're going to want to make sure that you know where he's at, and that you don't forget about him.
Yeah, type in Ohtani, check. Orange, it'll tell you. If he's an orange, I don't think
he's never purple.
He'll be a pitcher. He'll never be a
purple.
So I don't think
and he's only projected 0 when he's on the mound. It's something weird where they get their projections from, but he's always a 0 when he's on the mound. And sometimes if you're one of the first people in there and you don't see any other badges, you can get him like your last pick, and people forget because they just stick to ADP and they feel rushed. So
let's see if I can show you some of these.
Make sure you check your Ohtani projections before you draft.
So this my Ohtani gem. Where is it? Yeah. So I was doing these fairly early, and Machado and these people were just simply not like. I think Machado might have been my first pick because I was just simply going off projections, and then somehow Trout and Ohtani fell into it. Like these are the teams that you can.
Oh man, these are disgusting.
Yeah,
those are nasty.
So anyway, just to show you a things that you can and the teams that fall into your lap, like and little Max Stassi in there, just a little fun, fun stuff.
Stassi can hit, man. Stassi can hit. He's slept on low key.
And I'll get into that in my strategy talk. But
to bring it
on pitcher.
To bring it all back around. I think that first thing I'm doing when with this pitcher slate is stacked. I still have favorites out of these pitchers. Hit it again. Purple.
Goodness. There we go.
So this is a very stacked pitcher slate, right? Like there's 6 viable starters that can probably there's not going to be a whole lot of separation among this slate. However, it's hard for me to not click on Corbin Burns first here. I think personally that he's going to dominate the Cubs in Wrigley. Wrigley isn't conducive to scoring runs. And oddly enough, not to turn this into a betting show, they have the highest run total on the slate. And that doesn't – I smashed the shit out of that under. That game is a 10.5. It was a 10.5 total. I took under
Is it in Wrigley?
Yeah.
Is the wind blowing out that we don't you know what I mean?
No one knows that. You won't know until it happens. It probably is though.
That's why
with the weather patterns, maybe they can tell. But I didn't care. I smashed it. I smashed that under real quick. I didn't I'm like, what wind or no wind, man. I just know that there's not a lot of runs scored at Wrigley. So so this is a very stacked slate. So I'm kind of doing a little bit of both. Like I love Burns. I think I like Bieber, but Bieber wasn't as nasty as as he was in his Cy Young year last year. KC is a bit of a hitter's park. And I don't think that KC lineup is like a pushover. So I'm not like super quick to jump on Bieber. Darvish is probably my number 2 starter here, but I will mix it up. I will go between like, okay, like I want Burns, and then I'll say, okay, you know what, I'm going to pass on pitcher. So I'm probably going to be mainly Burns and mainly like Wainwright because he's usually there last. But what I did last year though is like I made sure that like I got a pitcher that I liked. I wasn't taking a pitcher. If I had a gross pitcher, like I hated that lineup. I felt like I just paid the rake. So we had some discussion in Spike Week where we were like talking, and Dark Sheep, obviously smart ass guy, says, you know, he's punting pitcher almost every draft, every day. He is saying, I'm getting my hitter stack, and whatever pitcher is left, I'm taking that pitcher. That is hard for me to subscribe to, but I think I might try to do that more. But I'm very much drawn to like if I see a matchup where I think a pitcher is going to get a quality start, he's probably going to get a win, and he might get 8 to 10 strikeouts. I can't punt that.
Yep. And I agree with everything you said there. And a lot of the thing that one thing I'll say is I use I'm going to bring back DFS with this, is I use the brain of like when you see an ace or you see the aces up there, like people aren't going to stack that, like the teams most likely against them, and aces can get blown up. Like it's just like it's not likely, but like it's baseball. Things can happen. Like once the ace is out, you know what I mean? It's not like if the ace gets roughed up for 4 and they take him out because something happened, he's not in the game anymore. So then they have even less to work. So it's particular. So it's like when to take a pitcher. How I kind of say is and I want to say it's slate dependent for me. If there's this available where you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So all of a sudden
like
it's
8 viable options. I would get cute and take Hendricks, you know, like, I mean, there's a lot of options.
They're viable. When it gets to the point, when I want to emphasize is when it gets to the point where you go up here and you see a Corbin Burns and he's not a pitcher here. Corbin Burns and Shane Bieber. And then all of a sudden you see maybe this is your next tier up here. Like, and then all of a sudden you have people in the teens. Say it's a 6-game slate and they're just trash options and a couple studs. So that's where I say you have to, there's a couple options you have to take. You either don't play the slate because you've realized that it's your draft luck is, it's going to be RNG.
Yep.
Or you realize that you hope that one of those top people fall, or you get a top pick, or you just hope that you get lucky on the guy that's you think is crap. And then the other guy, like, but when it's that big of a discrepancy, that's when I say it's obviously you go pitcher or early, because I think the thought was like, if you see that, basically, if I put that up there,
if you look at the pitcher slate,
and this is not that. So if you looked up here and it was Bieber, Burns, and then just like
junk
late in the season, junk. And it's like, you're going to take one of those guys because you're going to have, not only you're going to have a better, like the projections are safer with pitchers. You're most likely going to feel safer. Plus, with the way these drafts go, I don't think anyone should have a problem finding bats that are well projected, especially even still in these drafts. Like, and it's not even to say like, oh, it's certain slates, but like if there's a 15-game slate, you're going to have no problem of a plethora of bats.
Yeah.
Like you're going to have, there's going to be no problem at all. So that's where it's different for me, because I know how worthless basically pitchers are in terms of scoring, in terms of points. Like they're even nerfed even more here. But if you have only the same options as the other people, and you can get one of those options and then hit on your batters, when you know that like basically the rest, like the only other pitching options are going to put up like maximum of 10, but your pitcher is going to put up a 20 spot because I think that immediately gives you an edge. So that's why it's very different pitching dependent.
These slates can get, like you said, very RNG, where if it's two good starters and then the rest is just a bunch of junk that you really don't want to have to take, but you have to because it's the format. To me, man, if I'm a top 2 pick, or as soon as one of those pitchers gets me, it doesn't matter where I am not getting cute. I'm going to try to take that lone pitcher that stands out above the rest. I mean, I just can't do it any other way. And if these contests continue to be double-digit max entry, then I will feel more comfortable playing those nasty slates. But otherwise, when it was just 6 entry max, I was like, I don't want to leave my money up to chance, and I just hope that I'm in a position where I can get these good guys. Look at that late swap to Mike Minor.
So and this is where, again, the sheep's crawling out. I told you. I agree with you. Like, you can have a pitcher do this with the lineup that did that, and I agree with you. I agree that maybe, like, it's just so, like, maybe, but with the draft environment and the market right now, you can get all of those people, like, terms of people after the pitcher. You can get them in rounds 2 through 6. Like, there's no shortage. Like, I'm fine with the options in round 6. So that's my only pushback. You know what I mean? Like, you're not confident in Mike Minor. You know what I mean?
Especially against the A's, because the A's at that time were very, very, very right-hander heavy. I would have never taken Mike Minor against the A's. I would have,
and it was swapped. So as you can see, that wasn't my initial thing. Here's Alex Wood.
Against my Pirates.
Look at this, Lamont. Obviously Lamont. Like,
God,
and
I was not watching that game.
It will all depend. If a guy goes out there and hits 3 home runs, if you don't have that guy, it's just like any other. You're done. So, like,
yeah, you gotta have that.
That's why it's like it's hard, because you could say, well, I want to get those batters, but it's just so tough because anyone could literally do that. Do the top bats have more of a chance? Yes, but it's baseball. It's event based. Again, you could have 3 scorching line drive ready to go doubles down the line, and somehow Manny Machado snags every single one, and you don't get any of those points. It's just it's variance.
Yeah, when we switch from a macro game of best ball to a micro game of
and I don't even think I'm winning
this.
These,
I mean, it's going to be,
right,
it's a whole different ball game. It's very tilting. And look at this lineup, man. Like 16, 11, 19, 21, 30, 16. You probably thought that you were about to take this slate down. Like, that is crazy that this doesn't win.
Click that. I don't know if I probably can't click
I think you can.
Oh, there we go. So this is what won it. Yeah. So the only difference was I had Zunino.
Oh, he took
Cruz.
Moustakas.
Yep. So, yep. It's we haven't figured it out, just like best ball. The drafting style is so different. And with no salaries, it's different. So, yeah. Well, why don't we hop into some and
let's put this to the test.
I'm hoping my internet here will cooperate. Sometimes we haven't had it in a long time.
Your Wi-Fi can be spotty?
I'm hardwired, so we're hoping.
Oh, nice.
Would we do this? Yes. Oh, I should have told people, but yeah, we're joining in here.
Oh yeah, let's go. Bring it on. All right, we got a nice full lobby
here.
We'll
see how we can. Yep, we're good.
So another thing we were talking about in the Discord as well is I had mentioned that with how big this contest is, we were in the same vein of like, oh, do we punt pitcher? Do we take pitcher? This is the biggest daily contest I've ever seen on Underdog, and for baseball.
Yep.
And like, I truly think you're gonna need the damn near optimal to win this. With 66 max entries, it's gonna be tough, man. You can have. I'm telling you, we're all gonna have some lineups that we got some guys hit some doubles. No zeros from our batters, all double digit points. You could still maybe 1.5 times your money because there's so many entries in here. And there have been some nasty, nasty teams posted in the Discord that happen to come together. So,
yep.
I'm just saying, man, that's kind of the gift and the curse with. Oh, we got the influencer 101. I'm sorry, I didn't even notice that.
No, you're good. That's what I was going to ask you. So I have the 2 options up here, in which I think are the only viable, not the only viable, but what I was thinking you. So I have an agreement with you. I like Burns.
Burns would be my choice. Burns would be me.
I like Burns over Bieber. I would go Bieber second. I think you mentioned you like Darvish more.
I do. I
I
do.
like, and it's toss up.
I think I need to see it from Bieber before I get back on the bandwagon.
And I see these Manny Machado's 1-2s, and like, I think maybe this is where specifically ADPs matter so much. And when I get him, I've gotten him in the 5th twice, Machado, in the 5th round in these, and it's
Fifth
like
round?
when I see him going in the like the end turn where it's like, when I see him going,
man, I might not draft too many more of these. I'm not even playing. That is crazy.
Yeah, no, I have some, like the first couple drafts I did, I'm like, I don't know what people are doing. Buxton went 3, Twins went. Buxton went 4, and it was already postponed. Clear.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
So what we were talking about here, when I was going to get these stacks up just to get in line with this, and I use FanDuel scoring because I'm fairly certain that is the closest scoring or almost the exact scoring for Underdog. I don't want to be 100%, so we had that Mets. We don't need to really get them in the queue.
Yeah, I do think that Mets game is probably going to get postponed.
And that's another thing that strategically you can go into. I have been specifically holding off because on like the Mets and the Nationals, because like Soto's been there in like the 3rd round. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I get it, but like, I don't know if the game's going to play, and I'm filling out a stack. I'm not just going to afford it. So I
might take one Soto team. I'll probably, I say I'm not going to draft. I'm going to draft, but
of course,
maybe
in a lighter amount. So what are you thinking here? We got our ace. We just talked about kind of being different. Our boy took Machado, which leads off our Padres stack. If I were to go here and get lineup HQ for this, if we were just to check that, that's kind of what I do.
And there's Nimmo, man, at the 1-2 turn.
Yep.
Like,
so
no.
What I think, and I don't know if it agrees with me, is they're not as high as I also use the Bat X, and the Bat X is very much so high on the Astros. So even against Ohtani. So what are you thinking here?
I think Jose is a decent bet. And then we can maybe go
Jose Altuve or
Ramirez. I apologize.
Okay.
I mean, Greinke is. I'm not really scared of him. And if we want to take Franmil, we can, or we can just like.
Do you want to do it? Because that's something I don't mind doing.
I'm taking a ton of Matt Olson as well. But I think getting the stack here and getting our outfield, because outfield, similar to best ball, runs thinner than infield. You know, there's no difference here.
It does. Yep. The good thing, that is true.
I would hit draft, because is he at the top?
Perfect. Yeah, I was gonna.
Yeah, I was making me nervous, Eric. If you're second guessing.
I was talking about that. So one thing I'll do is I'll just go and check now the stack just to see. So like, obviously, technically they have Franmil projected higher than Jose, which is fine. We got the top 2 in that stack. I know you were talking about. So one thing we can do here just to see the difference. Yeah. So technically, we took the higher projected players.
Nice.
In that, I don't know if something's they're still updating or whatever, but yeah.
No, I would believe it, because Maui's a much better pitcher than Greinke.
Very much so. There goes Matt Olson, as we were talking about him.
In the 3rd round? Matt Kana is going over Matt Olson. Like, you see what I'm saying?
That's why
what is going on?
That's how these drafts go. You can find your team. The drafts that I did these in there was no one I knew at all. Didn't know anyone. And I'm like, it's kind of like, I love it. I also like being with someone else, because I have a slight feeling that they're just kind of checking my team like I do theirs. Like, I'm just like, all right, yep, what, you're continuing to just rock drafts, and have a feeling they check mine. They're like, yep, you're continuing to rock drafts. So like, I like that when I see you guys in there. But yeah, I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, at least, away. Yeah, I have sniped some fellow Spike League members, and I apologize. I'm just trying to do what's best for your boy. I gotta look out for number 1.
We're trying to win. We're trying to get number 1. So you should only be looking out for it.
If I won 2K on a battle royale, that'd be fire. I'm used to these. I won 300 a couple times, and I was like, ooh.
That's how I actually got my my best ball, my MLB best ball And then for I dropped like 53 big boards until I just I waited.
Nice.
I'm like, I know I need to do best MLB, so I like saved some. I won week 16. The last 3 weeks of the season, I placed in the top 5. 2 of them got me. One of them got me like nothing in the NFL daily contests. Yeah, I placed top 5, and then one of them I won for $3K. So, or it was like the smaller one.
No
so I won
shit,
for
man.
$3K.
Nice. Yeah. That's awesome.
So I took those down, and then one of them.
Wow, that is awesome. I have terrible luck with those.
So I know, but like I
like it.
Just do it. I like this. Do you want to go and get?
And I would go
outfielder?
Personally. I'd go O'Neal.
I was gonna say I like O'Neal over Arenado. Yep, I love that. So just to show the people what we got working with right now, we got a Burns, Ramirez, Franmil, and a little Goldschmidt O'Neal. So,
I mean, yeah, like we've been saying, it's baseball. These guys could put up zeros, but like, if you're gonna build a team, this is like the ideal way that you want to build your team. Like these are like Goldschmidt, O'Neal, like other than Arenado, who like even Arenado, I don't really even like to take really often. Like this is like.
Agreed. Oh,
we're basically
forgot about him. If you guys, we just kind of forgot about Ohtani in there.
We did, but we're stacking.
That is things that you can do now in this.
What's his team look like, by the way? If you want to give him a little click, it's his third out. Oh, damn!
I might have literally this
with the Dalton Varsho.
No, mine is with mine is with Ketel and Christian Walker. Because I don't think
I was in that draft.
I think everyone's first click is Varsho, so I've been going Walker specifically for the fact that why not?
I just think,
and that's the thing is you don't have like the star players like you can people like it's not going to be the greatest, but you could pick the teams of the Christian Walkers, Dalton Varsho, and you could walk out of there and say I'm fine with it. And I go, you know what, you could win because they could all hit a home run. Be perfectly fine. Your pitcher puts up the points, like you could honestly win with that because if the other, and that's where the strategy comes in play. And we're already going to be finishing our first one here. The strategy comes into play is like, do you take a team against a pitcher, a top pitcher? Like, do you take the Cubs like Dark Sheep posted? Like I've taken, I don't think I have it. I was going to take one later. I will most likely have a Cubs lineup just because.
Is Suzuki actually in this player pool? Because it wasn't.
How do you spell his first name?
Seyy.
No.
And if you type Suz, they gotta fix that.
Yeah,
man. That's bad.
We got Suzuki. Can we take him? No, just kidding.
That's bad. They gotta fix that
last
ASAP.
Spot here. What are you thinking? So I'll just go here real quick.
We could easily stack a Cardinal, and I'd feel better about stacking a Cardinal than taking an ancillary
for sure.
Guardian. Or you could do like Altuve, Arenado is still available. That's kind of nuts.
Carlson.
Sure.
I'm gonna take Dylan because that's who I would have normally taken there anyway. So
yeah, nice.
I just checked these here, see if I don't have any of that. But yeah, these are.
There's so many good teams there, man. Oh my god.
They're fun teams. It's so addicting to draft these teams.
It is.
So here we're gonna we'll give it a minute here. I'll talk about whatever. We'll let this sit and we'll hop in another one. They're so simple to do. Kind of if anyone wants to get ready to click the button.
It's 66, so we don't have to
I was about to win a 10K battle royale. And I had it in the bag. The games were basically over. It was the Texans were playing, I forget who. And it was a bomb. I had Brandon Cooks and Davis Mills. I don't think I actually had Mills, but I had Cooks in there. And he got a 50-yard catch that put me up winning by 1.4 points. Like 5 seconds after the play, a flag comes randomly out of nowhere. Oh, holding on the offense.
Oh.
That bumped me down to like 5th, and I went from 10K to like It might have been 5K. I might have been exaggerating here. It's either 5 or 10, but it bumped me down to nothing because, like 5th or 6th place or just nothing.
So
and I'm just sitting there
top-heavy.
like, well, that's when like the next week, the same thing kind of happened and I got like another place.
way.
And then the same thing kind of happened the next week. And then I actually ended up pulling out for 3rd.
Oh, my God.
Uncle
man.
Andy, that is a great question here. If anyone is looking in the chat there.
That's awesome.
Can you swap out undrafted players in the lineup and comes out a guy drafted? So no. How swaps work, let's see. I think the best place to do this would go down to rules. And then Battle Royale. Do they have anything with swaps? I know they specifically swap. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
So a swap, and because I wanted to make sure I was doing this right, didn't want to give any wrong information across. If you select a player that is marked inactive after they are drafted, so if they are already marked as out or anything as you draft them, no. It's if they're active at the time you draft them and they become inactive, then that's when the swap happens. We'll show you here in a second how you can go and add rankings to who would technically be your highest swap. But if you have a ranking set, you'll be able to it will select from that ranking set, opposed to like the automatic underdog projections, which you'll want to do. If there are multiple swaps made to single contest, it'll be made in reverse draft order. Swaps are ineligible, or aka inactive people. So doubtful, out. If they're traded, retired, that would be, I guess, Vonta Davis at halftime. Retired, it's not going to matter because he's defense, or suspended. If a player already has a designation prior to be selected, again, like I said, they will not be swapped. For any MLB player not in the starting lineup, will be considered inactive and will be swap eligible. For any other, so that is an instance basically. If he is starting, or if he's healthy and not injured or anything, but he's not in the starting lineup anymore, they will swap for you. If an MLB game is postponed, those players will be swap eligible. Players from a suspended game, however, will not be swap eligible. Suspended game. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a game that starts and then is suspended in play.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah, and if a player is like I think you already mentioned, if a player is questionable, then you're basically taking that risk on, and they will give you a warning. They will say, "Hey, this player's questionable. They're not swap eligible." They will tell you that. Don't ignore that message because you're taking on that risk. Whereas otherwise, if a player gets swapped and it was out of your control, like Shane was saying, 1, it'll go off your default rankings, or 2, you'll actually have an option that'll say swap rankings whenever the contests are live, and then you'll be able to then set the rankings. But it's the same exact thing as setting your rankings before going into a draft. So 2 different ways to do that. That's one of the other reasons why I really like setting your rankings ahead of time. So yeah, right there, exactly. So
yeah, this is the default rankings. You can also do this from this tab here if you just go to rankings and it's the rankings you already set. How I would advise doing this is simply if that, you could technically start going the best players available, and then you know what I mean, even Mike Trout and that's fine. Just kind of set them up like your standard rankings, because you don't know who's drafted in each draft and each one's going to be different. So to set them up as a standard ranking, just kind of go through and rank them, and then basically, if there's players in certain drafts that end up being out, it will automatically select the highest player forward. I don't see now. The only question is, I don't know if it automatically goes to from this. If you have a certain team to keep the stack, I don't think it does. I think that's just a bullet or just something you have to, them's the breaks, but I'm not 100% sure. So
yeah, it's time dependent. So if you have if the player that is swapped is the last game of the slate, you're not swapping to somebody that played earlier.
Let me just make sure before we hop in another draft. Yep. Let me just double check to see if I didn't miss anything here with swaps about that specific. I don't think so. No. So yeah, that's an interesting thing about the player. I don't know if they'll go right to that team that you already have. Yeah. Swap doesn't keep the team. I figured so. I just, again, wanted to try and relay the right info. So, all right, boys and girls, let's
do another one, and then we don't have to submit a ticket, but I wouldn't mind checking out the pick'em lines either after we're done, just to take a look.
I will show you the pick'em lines I did. Ones that I tailed with I don't know if you did the I don't know if you can do it, but if you saw the Tiger Woods under 999 shows, so.
Took the over.
Yeah, exactly what I did. Exactly what I did when it was something else was another promo. I'm like, oh, so we're hammering that over, right? Like for sure. No. All right, guys, we're gonna clicking that, going in 2 spots. I would say come get your EV, but we're getting it too. So as long as you're just following again proper draft etiquette, which is just stack. Like, yeah, well, you'll it's kind of like that EV is making itself. And another thing, I know Eagles likes to preach it a lot about simply drafting when the contests just come out. It's the same thing I personally feel for these. Like they will get sharper in the day. They will,
absolutely,
and they will eventually update projections. Not saying like initial projections will end up still being zeros, but they will maybe eventually update those projections from zeros, like for the certain slate. So you'll lose the edge, and people will start drafting them higher later. It's the same reason if you're in our Discord, which again I highly recommend that if you haven't, join our Spike Week Discord. We'll get that link in the chat for you guys if anyone needs it. But a fantastic place. Every sport, NHL, MLB, NBA, of course NFL. We got our boy Dusty. So Dusty won 6. It was just two of them. No Botox again. Spike Week Discord, amazing place. They're just fantastic place to talk about strategy in there. But Eagles was talking about to get in there early and specifically like draft. And I know that people were talking about the dance teams and how like right away they were just getting some just super powered. And that's the NBA playoffs. They would get some super powered teams. Specifically the NBA daily contests. Like if you check them out in there, you'll see people like, hey, like any basically super, like what were your drafts looking like earlier in the day? And people are like, Giannis was a 0 and I got him in the 4th round continue. And now he's playing. It's like, well, I'm not drafting today. There's certain, maybe like in this, but it's very different. Again, baseball, whereas like, the top guy is Brandon Nimmo, but like these top guys in these projections could technically all of them, like legitimately all of them could put up like, and where they get a 13.97, like to get a 13, like however many, like if this is FanDuel scoring, like if like to get that, you get a half of a hit. Like it's an interesting way they get projections. It's not like a standard deviation curve of basketball. You know what I mean? Like you're mostly going to fall in here. It's a totally different ball game. So
exactly. Yeah, it's honestly not even like a huge big deal that that somebody gets like Ohtani last pick. It's not quite as like game breaking as getting Giannis last pick. It's
because exactly like you can see, like you can like there's guys in these that if you get a guy batting 5th that no one was taking that hits a home run and you stack them with other guys, like we're up here, like that's fantastic. So one thing that what are you thinking here? So we got 2 pitchers available.
And
we could easily take one to make him so he doesn't get the option.
Yeah, if I was to take one, I would take Darvish. I like Darvish more than Fried in that matchup. I would feel more comfortable taking Darvish. And then I wish like on mobile this would automatically deselect the pitcher for you, but now we kind of got to take a look at what stacks we want. So I wonder if Machado. I don't think Machado was taken yet. I take him. I've been taking him off, and he just sticks out like a sore thumb against But I mean, I'm not saying we have to. I'm
trying to not be so. I mean, it's difficult because the answer is always okay. It maybe not in the daily contest. It's not, but yeah, it's so difficult because like you can get I don't want to just go all in on the guy or these guys and have like all of my lineups and then all of a sudden my daily lineups and then like daily lineups crap. Like I don't want to do that in daily. I'd like, especially with like it being daily and not a season, like anything can happen. So that's why I kind of like, that's where I'm especially kind of don't go overboard So yeah, I will take him here. I will agree with you.
I mean, if you want to browse around, we can. It's just
No, I like it with getting the pitcher and the.
yeah, I think there's some correlation there for sure.
It only benefits. There has to be some small. It's not big. I'm not seeking it out. I just say I like it because if Machado goes off, it's most likely. It is benefiting Darvish if Darvish isn't getting shelled. But I mean, if Darvish is getting shelled, please let it be Marte and Walker. Yeah, there goes both stocks. See, with these smart guys, you're not going to get. I mean, I have Olsen. I've been getting. I love. I mean, I love going down here and finding the guys here. I'll type in some Padres so we can kind of get more of the stack options going there.
Yeah, I mean, we're still open to a lot of stacking options. Like, I'm okay with a one-off Machado if we stack somewhere else,
And one thing I want to point out, like I'm saying, don't be afraid. Like, don't be always like, well, I have to take the top guy over and over.
Yeah,
like,
there's no ADP here.
Don't be afraid to be like, you know what? Like, if and you'll know with projections simply. Like, if you go Astros, you'll see who the top. But like again, Michael Brantley can hit a home run. Alex Bregman can hit a home run. And I'm saying that because that's what literally is going to score you points. So like these guys, it's like, oh, they're projected 11 versus like 8.5. Like it's not the end of the world if you all of a sudden like, you know what, I'm gonna go
home runs will literally break the slate.
Yep. And there goes Ohtani. So what are you thinking here?
Can you hit the okay? If we just click on like outfield, if we just look at outfielders, just kind of look at position here. I wouldn't mind trying to pivot to get some Houston exposure. I'm not sure your thoughts on that. Trying to get a Houston stack going because I think we can get Grisham later if we wanted.
Yep. That's why I'm going to pull the trigger on. Again, you're splitting hairs, really are. They have Tucker more. I've done them both.
That's weird to me because Ohtani's a lefty.
Yeah.
I guess Jordan Bat's lefty too, right? It's been a while since I watched baseball. Oh, you're right. I apologize. I got it mixed up. Yeah. He throws right, bats left. That's right.
So that's and I don't know if that can be brought up on the screen, but Jay Werner, the perfect thing that I like to mention on here is the when to get to. Or what point does the contest get big enough for us to get? I think honestly, you can do it to an extent in this this contest is a perfect There's no I'm maybe not to. I don't know what your Galaxy brand we're talking vomit stacks if we're talking like end of the order, but like we were talking earlier about the Cubs. They're facing Corbin Burns here. We'll make this pick here. Tucker, little combo there. What are you thinking?
Yeah, man, it's gonna be either Tucker or Bregman if he's available. I'm a big fan of Bregman. I feel like he's been a little slept on, even in these best ball streets. I mean, I think he's just an excellent ball player.
I know they have Altuve. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Tucker
for sure because outfield scarcity.
I was gonna say I like you said. I'm gonna go with your theory, which I agree with the outfield. And to go back on what I was saying with Jay Werner, there's about the Galaxy brain is I don't think this is too big. Sheep mentioned it earlier. No one it's not. You're finding leverage in these stacks, and don't maybe putting your entire portfolio in a Cub stack, but having one or two isn't terrible because I'm just gonna sort of talk about what could happen. Let's just go look at the Cubs projection.
Does it have ownership?
It has Milwaukee. I clicked Milwaukee. So the ownership it's just kind of bugging. But it's not great if you look at the other teams. It really isn't. But can Wilson Contreras and can Ian Happ and Suzuki, who we don't have in the player pool, and Schwinn and Frankie 2 hits. Can Ortega? They could all hit a home run. Is it likely against Burns and the Brewers bullpen? No. But if they do it, the odds that if you pair them with the right people, obviously then you have to get the pairing. So but if you pair them with the right people, you're going to jump. I would honestly argue 99% of the field, you're going to jump like you were going to jump. And I guess I should have been showing this little draft.
They might,
if you want to see
if you take a Cubs stack, like you're gonna flag the fair play alerts on Underdog because that's gonna be like a 0.1. It's gonna be absolutely untouched.
So I think that, I don't know I'll use a cop-out answer. It's again, these are so new that I don't know the specifics.
I kind of have a strong take that like this is the size to like get cute because I'm very quick. I've only drafted like a handful of teams, and I'm getting close to duping. I'm getting close to duping myself every
exactly,
time.
And that's my thing is you'll find yourself with doing these so quick. You'll find yourself, and so I'm gonna go with your boy Bregman, and we're gonna go with Bregman
big fan.
Honestly, either one of these two would be fine. Altuve or Grisham. We could technically.
I like Altuve, Grisham, or even getting cute and taking the 0 projected Voit that Spike Week has been touting.
Yes. How did I not even have him on?
Because he's a 0, bro. He gets buried.
Do I even work for Spike Week? Goodness, I'm freaking gone right after that. I don't even have it on there. I'm not promoting. Again, this is another edge exploit flaw. Take it like. Let me just.
I wish
it'll
it was
be very hard again. So
if
now
you
some of these guys.
Yeah, if you filter out the pitchers, then it would be a little more real, but
very tough for sure because of.
Did they
Pham and Ozuna? What's going on here?
That's a great one.
I have 3 Tommy Pham, I believe. Like, okay, so this maybe is. So who would you agree? Who would you want here? I would go Altuve, personally. But I mean, you could talk me into.
I could see Bumgarner getting crushed, man. Personally,
you said Voit. What am I even talking about? I didn't put him at the top.
Well, I mean, I like Altuve too, but I think Bumgarner is a much better matchup than
like
Ohtani.
this. So we did that draft. I'll go to one of these to see if I can. Just to, it's not that great. Like, okay, these guys are not being drafted. 1, 0 projection. 2, not being drafted at all. Like there, it's just, and I is like would you, if anyone on the chat, is this galaxy braining? Like this is the Brewers starting lineup. Like it's not even that like it's just, I would say. In terms of how you want to galaxy brain it, don't overthink it, but just simply go and just Werner, you're smart enough to easily just be like, well, like these are clearly the top teams. You probably have projections. You know that top teams are like they're not being taken over and over again. Pivot to some of those guys. Like they can easily be taken. You don't have to go totally off the board. Now, if it's a smaller slate, 4 games. Probably start Galaxy. Like I think every question is very slate dependent. That's my cop-out answer. It literally is so slate dependent. Same thing for DFS. Like it is truly one of the most slate dependent things. Like it, especially the building of the Galaxy braining and going for like the team. Like we it's clear you would rather like. Okay, you look at that. It's like okay, but then you go and look at. Like that clearly looks better than having a Stassi and Christian Walker and whatnot on your team. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but that's before the slate, and then once it kicks off, anything can happen.
And then all of a sudden we're sitting there 3 innings in, and the guy has 2 more. So it's like it's just realize who's being drafted. Kind of pick that up. Easy thing that Nez pointed out that I love that I didn't even think of. Check out these rankings right away. Like, just see how they compare to your rankings, and it's a perfect thing. Like. It's very, very honestly straightforward in for how I kind of get forward to this. I think the big for anyone listening here that may not see in the comments, he and I've been talking about this earlier. Is the stacking against the consensus 101 versus 102. Cubs would be the thing. Like why not make it like try a dart? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
it's $5.
It's fine. Like I think it all it's different from DFS, the entry fee. Like it's in that aspect. It's similar in the fact that we're doing the same leverage aspects. We're doing the same thing that you're thinking of in your head. Like what's the field going to do? Because like And it's just the same thing on Underdog. What's the underdog field most likely doing? So, like, to be honest with you, if you want to find, like, you take Patrick Corbin in the 6th round, and all of a sudden, and they play. So this is if they play the game. You take Patrick Corbin, and it's a totally different ball game. I understand than taking a pitcher versus a lineup versus a bad lineup versus a pitcher, because it's just a totally different ball game. But like, if Patrick Corbin goes out there and throws 6 innings, and all of those New York's stacks are dead. If hopefully if they don't rough him up in there, but like if Patrick dominates, most likely that dominates. It's vice versa. Like, I think that's definitely perfectly fine. If you're just like, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to go and take, like, already the Padres are undervalued. And then you take someone else, and then you go and take Patrick Corbin in a couple of them. He could easily be Mike Minor in my other one. You know what I mean? Like that win puts up 17 points.
Yeah. And then real quick, just because, I mean, I don't know if you knew this, they pushed back, they didn't postpone it, but the Mets Nationals game, I don't know if you saw that, it's starting at 7:05 now. That was news to me.
Wonder if they will have that on here. Probably the worst place to check. I know.
Yeah, right. They were just showing that Nets-Knicks games. I caught a bad beat on my Tiger Woods free bet. I had Obi Toppin under 18, and he hit a free throw with like a minute left.
So is this move back now or no?
Yes.
Okay.
It was it was originally like a 4:00 game, I believe. Now, obviously, with that in mind, I think it's a lot more likely now that we get that game plays. So I'm gonna have to definitely change the way that I've been drafting.
Yeah. So you wanted to mention some pick'ems. Here's one of mine.
Yeah.
This is actually courtesy of Dusty in the chat. He's like, I'm gonna throw $5 on this. Like, you've already looked at this. Like, we agree. We've been talking a lot. We have a little sheet going and stuff. Like, he's deep into it. I'm like, I'll trust you. I'll put $5 on that. I'm just testing these out, guys. Again, we're seeing how these go. I put a majority of my bankroll in the daily contests, as you can see, but this was another one. And I simply just did this by going, I won't show it on here. If you have bat or any projections, this was a total base category. And again, projections for batters, very hard, but I wanted to have a little something on opening day, put it on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, but yeah, if we wanted to specifically check out just some of the pick'em lines here, if anything catches your eye, I would actually wouldn't mind filling one of these out.
Yeah. So they added some new ones here that I didn't see.
Some strikeouts I didn't see yet.
Yeah. Okay, so we got some strikeout totals.
Is this only the first game? They've added a lot. Holy crap. Okay.
Wow. Yeah, this is all new. All right. So
let me go slow here. Sorry.
I would probably take the under on Cesar Hernandez's runs. I don't know what his odds are on any sports books, but anytime, right now, if Cesar Hernandez is projected, I'm going to take that under. I mean, I don't really need to explain that too much more. He bats in front of some very nice hitters. Don't get me wrong. He's hitting in front of Soto. He's hitting in front of Josh Bell.
So what you're telling me is in the first inning, he's going to get a walk, and then Soto's going to just smash one.
Yep.
And it's gone. No.
Meagle. Yeah. Right off Tyler Meagle. I like that under. All right. Let's see who else we got here.
And then another thing, I will, if anyone does have these, I won't tip too much. You can also just check out right here and do the same thing and just check these out, which they'll have all of their hit projections. I believe they'll have all of those, and you can go and check them out yourself, which is a nice little tool for your prop picks. So sorry, that's just to interject there. What else do you have next here for us? And what are you thinking? We're going to do a large one? We're going to fill out 5? Because I'm willing to just do
We can look at like what we got going on there and potentially see. I wanted to check real quick. Just because I got
I can search if you want a name.
I was looking up the run line on Cesar just to see if I was wrong or if that was like a good idea or not. Is there anybody that you're seeing that you like? These are all brand new lines, so like
Technically, you are, yeah, it's under by not much, so in this one. So
is it?
it's point 490.
It's only minus 120, so not quite as like egregious as I thought, but I would still take that under.
I'll take it. Yeah.
Geez, Zach Greinke.
One thing that again, it's interesting. So the highest projected guy on the slate. Again, I know I've always drawn to this. Now I don't want to tie myself to 3 pick 'em, so we could do an over under run. Manny Machado. And this is just simply going off, just very blunt tool going off these Trout.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, but
let's see here. I kind of like Greinke's under 3.5 strikeouts.
Austin Hedges is on here under. So so Dusty put this in the chat. Austin Hedges under 0.5 hits.
Let's see.
What is he?
Let's see. Austin Hedges.
That's funny that
under 0.5 is technically it's not quite as favorable. That is minus 105, and his over is minus 130. Okay. But Austin Hedges, man, I don't think professional hitter when I think Austin Hedges.
It's just it was funny to me that he had a line. You know what I mean? I guess they have there. That's awesome that he has a line.
It's weird. I mean, I would probably take his under. I mean, I think it's kind of odd that
we'll get funky with it.
Because the smart guys take unders, and that's why I don't typically.
That is true. Yeah, the money, especially in basketball season early when I was doing prop picks, was in unders, and it was no one wants to do them.
It's just not as fun.
It's not fun to cheer for an under. At
all. Yeah. Let's see what else I'm kind of into here. Roberto Perez under 0.5 hits. Absolutely. That dude's batting average is under 200. We're simply playing the odds.
I love that.
These run lines are interesting.
It's tough, yeah.
They didn't do these last year.
It's literally it's a home run. It's just it's a walk and it's so many different. It's crazy how it's baseball. It's just you know what I mean? Like
they weren't getting as creative with these lines last year. It was basically only total bases and that's it. But in the postseason, they started to introduce like more of these, which like these creative lines, which I think is really cool because I mean, it gets more people wanting to play these. And I would take under on Bumgarner's 4 strikeouts. I think, we all kind of think that he's not very good, and there's a lot of right-handed hitters for San Diego. What's Roto Grinders think about that call?
Oh, whoops. I forgot we had Bumgarner. Let's see. Do we have I don't know if I'm on the pitchers or let's see.
They got him projected for 4?
Yep. I was going to check was Darvish's projected innings pitched. Not innings pitched, but just innings.
Is that a prop, innings?
No, I think I read it wrong. What am I trying to say? Pitch count.
Yeah, I have not seen pitch count on books.
It's Derek Carty, the bat, will have projected pitch count, which is interesting. And I don't know off the top of my head, but it's just an interesting Darvish almost 9. Do you think he's going to get the full?
It's a good question, man.
It's tough because I'm on the 10. I tend to agree with Sheep, who said earlier in the Discord, who like these starters, these number 1 guys are not going to get the same run that they're going to get.
Maybe. But they also may not want to go to the pen so soon.
We don't know. I mean, we don't know how ramped up, unramped up these guys are. So yeah, it's true.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm looking at matchups and like so Shane Bieber is a little too close to 100 for me to take, but like I took Wainwright's over. I don't know what it is now, but whenever I took it, it was
6.5 is what we have her currently.
That has to be. I think that's what it was whenever I took it. And
let's take it.
Yeah,
Do you have it at 86.5 over? Is that what you got?
That's what I had it at.
Well, doesn't hurt.
Let's go.
Now, let me confirm here. We're
Smart guy's
under
line.
except the nice little watch. He'll throw 86.
Little correlation with the Roberto Perez. If Roberto Perez isn't hitting off you, I mean, maybe there's a chance you're throwing a little bit more. Watch Wainwright throw like a Maddox and go complete game shutout under 80 pitches against the Pirates. So wouldn't that be hilarious? He goes 9 innings and doesn't eclipse 86.
And what would we say to that? That's baseball.
Not today.
That is baseball. But so
nice line. I like this.
That's an interesting one. Well, we got a nice little line there. Even some more sweat. It's not going to load up for me. That's the final one there.
It's never fun to root for unders, but I mean, that's what all the smart guys do. So
the odds with the Masters going on and with how many TVs, like I'm going to be trying to figure out, like the odds that I even like remember to be like, oh, gotta check in on my Roberto Perez. He's at the bat. Like it'll just happen. He'll get a hit, and I'll just be like, oh, whatever.
Roberto Perez home run guaranteed tomorrow, unfortunately.
But when I do get the alert, the notey that one of these guys had a home run, I'm just gonna be like, well, fuck. But
yeah, it's gonna hurt. But
yeah, well, it's been a pleasure to draft these with you and to talk some more shop. I always learn so much again doing this, so I'm glad you guys have come out here and enjoy with us as well and chat with us. We appreciate it every single time. We will be looking forward to having some possibly more streams on these daily contests and figuring out a way to push out some more content for these. So be on the lookout for specifics, for slate specific streams, videos, articles for sure, and rankings, which are already going to be posted every single day. But yeah, we've had a blast, and we're glad we could do this. And thanks, I guess, Underdog for the EV. Not just we're not giving it out; it's Underdog with the projections, everything. But
yeah, that's on them.
But yeah, I hope everyone has a great night. And
thanks everybody. This is fun. Subscribe. Check out the Discord.
For sure, yeah. Make sure you just check out that Spike Week Discord. Come get into some heated discourse with us. No, it's all fun over there. We all love each other. Happy opening day eve. Baseball tomorrow, folks. Have a good night.
Guys.